Hello, happy Serpent Sunday. My name's Adam and this is Ghoulsby Serpents. Thanks for stopping by, I appreciate your time. And so start the video off with a little bit of bad news, we'll get that out of the way. I had a situation with my video number 1 that I didn't realize, and it was posted up for a little over a week, maybe 8 days. Well, a good friend of mine reached out and said, hey man, you got some information in your video you probably don't want. And sure enough, so I tried to get that video edited, to try to get it fixed and cropped, and I spent a day and a half trying to get that done. I'm not real tech savvy, I'm living and learning here as I'm doing this YouTube deal. But yeah, unfortunately I couldn't get that fixed properly, so I just had to delete that video. So there are only 2 videos here on the page, but this is video number 3. And last week in video number 2 was Father's Day, so hopefully you guys out there are blessed with children and had a good Father's Day. We're treated like kings. We got invited over to my mom's. My mom made a nice dinner for the family and all, so we had some good tacos and burrito and hung out. Good, it was a nice Sunday. So good Father's Day, happy Serpent Sunday. And also with some good news. You know, we had the bad news of the first video having to go away. Then we got this here, is that this week we've had Elvira, our piebald female. She laid her second clutch this week, and she was bred to a Super Orange Dream Yellow Belly, 100% het pied. And so she laid a total of 7 healthy eggs. Beautiful clutch, and I did that live on Instagram. I pulled that clutch, and still couldn't do the live here on YouTube, so I did that over on Instagram. Eventually one of these days I'll be able to do the live on YouTube. And then also we had our first ball python clutch start pipping. So we got just a total of 3 healthy babies so far out of clutch of 6. Excuse me, 1 egg was bad 2 days after being laid. It had weak veins, really no embryo whatsoever. The other 2 eggs that perished, the babies started to develop, but they quit developing, and those eggs were in pretty bad shape as well. And so we got 3 healthy babies so far. They're still holding on in their eggs and all their egg homes. So they'll be crawling out here within the next couple of weeks, or next couple of days anyways. You know, we waited for them to pip, and they pipped on day 65. So that was a long wait for the first clutch of the year to pip this year. And I think it took a little bit longer because I did set the degrees of the incubator just a couple of notches lower this year, or this attempt for breeding. Reason being is that I have the reticulated python clutch in there as well, and so the ball pythons and the retics are sharing their incubator, and they're cooking at about 86 degrees to 88 degrees. We got 86 to the front and 88 to the back, closer to the heat tape, with a few fans running to try to keep a good median of 87 across the whole refrigerator incubator. And so with that in mind, with the retics as well, we have Gomez. I mentioned that last week, closing up on the video and everything, that I would have him on the channel today. So, and here he is, Gomez. Gomez is a 50% Kalaotoa, 12.5% Jampea, Tiger, 100% double het, purple anery. Now, so he can produce purple albino, and purple albino is a Clark strain albino, or referred to as Clark strain. And Clark strain albino can produce white albino, purple albino, and lavender albino. Lavender is the combination of the purple and white. And we got lucky here in the United States. Lavender was the genetic mutation imported, and so when the wild caught animal was bred and produced purple and white albinos, well, that's how we got lucky. Because it could have just been a white albino, and that's all we would have here in the United States. It could have just been purple but lavender, so it introduced all 3 here to the United States, luckily. And then Tiger was the first imported genetic mutation into the United States. So it is the oldest known genetic mutation. I want to say that the first one was either the late
80s, 89 or something, or early 90s. I can't remember exactly which, but yeah, the first genetic mutation imported in the United States was Tiger. Gomez's mom is Tiger, and a little picture of her, which I think is amazing, with Garrett here holding her. And with that, I don't think that Gomez is in that clutch, but he sent me that picture to represent his mom, because I mean, that's just an amazing picture right there, to be able to hold a reticulated python with her clutch like that. But yeah, that's Gomez's mom. And Gomez here is what is referred to as the white diamond line of the purple albino and anery. And what I mean by that is that with Reach Out Reptiles, they've been working with that line since 2008. White diamond has been around and pretty infamous. I know Garrett followed him around for quite some time until he could afford putting him into his collection as a breeding sire and all. But yeah, white diamond is, I'll put a picture up here right now. And white diamond is a purple snow, and was, when first bred, when first hatched, they just were dumbfounded on what they had produced, and so they kept him around for a little while and bred him, and then eventually made him available as well. And from what I understand, Garrett couldn't afford that guy at that time, and so he followed him around for about a decade, and then was finally able to acquire him, and I believe that was in 2008. And so white diamond, he was called that for a few reasons. One being that his eyes looked like diamonds, and a couple of deals is that with, like you see on Gomez, with the dark black outlining creates a nice dark inky black lines surrounding the dorsal pattern, and then also those white rosettes of the tiger trait, and they're mostly complete, a couple of scales. And white diamond was known for that kind of, to pass on that trait to his babies. So he's known to produce some very clean looking animals. Or for example, the background of Gomez here, you can see some pixels and referred to as pixels, or ticking specks in between where the rosettes are at. So there's not so many of those little black dots in between those rosettes, and white diamond was known to produce those traits within animals. So that's who Gomez's dad is. White diamond is a beautiful animal, and here he is once again. And so yeah, I've had Gomez for it'll be his 7 years here in September. So he's an older guy. I had him for a while. My first instinct was just to buy him as a pet, because I had no intentions on breeding reticulated pythons still at that time. But I kept him for about a year, and I decided differently after keeping the ball pythons and having some success and healthy clutches and having a really good time and enjoying life with breeding the ball pythons. I wanted to get a nice female for Gomez. So I reached back out to Garrett and talked to him for a little bit about it, and he sent me a few different females and with different genetics, and he showed me one that I could not pass up. And that girlfriend that I bought for Gomez, her name is Six. And so Gomez and Six produced their first clutch of reticulated pythons. They were laid on April 3rd, and a total of 13 healthy eggs. I would love to show you Six, which I will do in a future video, of course. But yeah, I'm so excited about these. This guy here, Gomez, is going to be a little bit of history for Ghoulsby Serpents, meaning that with purchasing of Six is a genetic wise is a motley 100% double het caramel anery. So with these two producing babies, these will be a step into adding the orange glow genetics, which is the combination of the albino genetic to the caramel genetic. So you have two albinisms crossing together, and so visually they are referred to as orange glow. So the orange glow genetics are brand new to the super dwarf crosses. I want to say there's been maybe a total of 8 clutches of those now. I'm not fully 100% on that, of course. I know here for Ghoulsby Serpents, this is the first time we've ever produced reticulated pythons, and I bought 6 back in 2019 because with what her and her clutch mates are doing is making the history of adding the orange glow genetics into once again the super dwarf crosses of reticulated pythons, because there are no known, well, there's one known genetic mutation in the super dwarf, and that would be the anery genetic. Recessive genetic is the anery genetic, and all the other genetic mutations, those pretty yellow colors and wild patterns, are all within the mainland genetics. So to get the mainland genetics into the super dwarf genetics, people use the super dwarf bloodlines and crossbreed those to the mainland genetics and to add those beautiful colors in. So Gomez and 6 are a little bit of that history of adding in the orange glow genetics into the super dwarf crosses. Excited about that. They are going to be beautiful babies. Total of 13 healthy eggs. We are actually on day 80 today. Happy Serpent Sunday on that, huh? Woo! Day 80 today for Gomez and 6's babies to possibly start pipping. I've been watching them like a crackhead and looking for the police, checking on the eggs and all. But yeah, you guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed Gomez here.